Welcome to lesson 9. Today is conflict resolution, and I'm going to give you some common causes of conflicts in relationships. There are a variety of common causes that people get engaged in conflicts, and let me give you some of them. My most important are the personality traits, because an individual's personality, such as their assertiveness, their emotional regulation, and their style of communication, that affects how they're going to approach conflict resolution. For example, someone may be more confrontational and direct in the way that they're communicating, while the other person may prefer to stir away from conflict altogether, or they might use indirect communication methods. Let's talk about also the social norms and even cultural norms. This can actually influence how conflict is perceived and how it's managed within the relationship. In some cultures, for example, some people avoid conflict and they maintain harmony and they prioritize over addressing issues directly. In other cultures, open and direct communication, it might be valued over avoiding conflict. And these norms can actually impact how individuals approach conflict resolutions in relationships. Misunderstandings, misinterpretations, and poor communication skills that leads to conflicts in many relationships. And these issues, they can arise from a person's poor listening skills, maybe their nonverbal communication issues, their passive-aggressive behavior, or even their communication, their criticism, and even their defensiveness. And they might even stonewall or avoid communication overall. Conflicts in relationships can arise when partners hold different beliefs, values, and goals, and they're often rooted in deeply held attitudes and perspectives. And this can manifest in various ways, such they might have like different political or religious views, they might have conflicting career aspirations, they might have incompatible social activities, and a lot of contrasting personal habits. And other examples can include disagreements on the importance of family, friends, and even one's personal space. Cheating or suspicion of infidelity can cause significant emotional pain, feelings of neglect, and it can severely damage trust in a relationship, and that leads to conflicts. Feelings of jealousy and insecurity can lead to conflicts, especially when partners feel threatened or even ignored. Money. Problems such as debt, overspending, or unequal financial contributions, that can lead to a lot of conflicts. Money problems can also involve disagreements over financial priorities and even budgeting. Let me give you an example. Say one partner prioritizes saving for the future, while the other one goes on spending money on shopping, for example. That creates a conflict. In addition, there can be disagreements about how to raise children. And that really creates conflicts in several ways. When the partners have different parenting styles, they have different ideas about discipline, about education, and many other aspects of child rearing. And this really leads to arguments and conflicts about who thinks they're best at how to raise children. Additionally, one partner may feel that the other is not doing their fair share in parenting, and that further leads to resentment and more conflicts. And disagreements about parenting can also lead in inconsistencies in how children are raised, which that can leave a lot of confusion and can often harm children. Conflicts that can arise with power imbalances. So when one partner tries to exert control or even their dominance over the other partner, that creates a power dynamic that leads to conflicts because there are feelings of resentment or even inequality. And in such relationship, conflicts may be caused by one partner feeling unheard, or they might even feel undervalued. Alternatively, a relationship where both partners have equal power, that can lead to conflicts arising from differences in opinion or even conflicting needs. Now, let's look at attachment styles, because they play a big role in how conflicts are caused and how they're managed within a relationship. So an individual with an insecure attachment style, they may struggle with conflict resolution and they may cause conflicts because they have a fear perhaps of rejection or even abandonment. There might also be unresolved issues from the past, such as the way they were in their childhood. So they might have childhood trauma, or they might have had previous relationship problems. And it might impact an individual's ability to form and maintain healthy relationships. And these issues really cause a lot of emotional pain, and they can trigger negative behaviors, such as making a person avoidant, jealous, or being mistrusting, which that can spill over into current relationships and cause further conflicts. If we go back to an individual that experienced childhood trauma, perhaps abuse or even emotional neglect, they may find it difficult in trusting others and forming secure attachments. And this can cause jealousy, or they might make them have a clingy behavior in relationships, and that ultimately is going to result in conflicts with their partner. If someone had an experience of infidelity, they may struggle with trust issues, and they might find it hard to trust their current partner, regardless of their partner's actions. And this lack of trust can also cause conflict and puts a lot of strain in the relationship. When one or both partners feel that their needs are not being met, that further leads to frustration, resentment, and of course conflict. And these needs can be either emotional, physical, or any other practical of nature. One example of an unmet need in a relationship could be when one partner desires more quality time together, but the other partner might be always busy with work or perhaps other commitments. And that can lead to frustration and resentment. And that in the end, again, it goes down to conflict. Another important factor to consider is the role of gender and power dynamic in conflicts. So women may experience more conflict in relationships due to gender inequality and social norms that prioritize male dominance and control. And this argument is supported by research, which indicates that gender-based power imbalances are a significant predicator of relationship conflict, with women more likely to report experiencing negative behaviors such as verbal aggression, physical violence, and emotional abuse from male partners. It's important to recognize and address these power imbalances in relationships, because both partners need to be able to communicate effectively and to have their needs and their concerns heard and always respected. We also need to say that there are external factors that conflicts may arise. It can be family issues, financial difficulties, work stress, health problems, or just major life changes, or a person going through something very, very difficult. For example, disagreements with the in-laws or an extended family, custody battles, for example, conflicts with children from previous relationships, debt, a job loss, perhaps saving money, working long hours, high pressure, conflicts with a colleague or a boss, a chronic illness, a disability, mental health issues. You might be moving to a new city or a country. Perhaps you might be having a baby. You might be going through a divorce. That can really cause disagreements and tension within a relationship. And you need to be able to recognize when issues like that, because it causes conflicts in relationships. And you need to be able to prevent them from escalating in order for them to cause further damage within the relationship. A person's personality matters, and I want you to understand the Big Five test in order to help you with conflict resolution skills. Now, what is the Big Five? The 5-factor model, or the Big Five personality test, is a widely used psychological tool that can measure an individual's personality traits across 5 dimensions. And that includes openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. And some name it ocean. Taking this test in a relationship can really help you in enhancing your self-awareness and to understand your partner and even yourself, and to identify potential areas of conflict or compatibility. And partners can leverage this understanding to improve their communication, to build a stronger relationship, and to be able to foster empathy and to respect one another for their own personalities. Personality traits of each individual, such as those measured by the Big Five, they can lead to conflicts in relationships in various ways. And I'm going to give you some examples. Individuals who score high in openness to experience, they may be more adventurous and willing to try new things, while those who score low may be more set in their ways. And this can lead to conflicts when partners have different levels of openness and have trouble finding common ground. Individuals who score high in conscientiousness, they're generally reliable, organized, and responsible, while those who score low may be more laid back and spontaneous. So conflicts can arise when partners have different levels of conscientiousness, and one partner may feel like they're doing all the work within the relationship, or that the other partner is not actually taking responsibility. Individuals who score high in extroversion are typically outgoing and enjoy socializing, while those who score low, they may prefer alone time. And conflicts can arise when partners have different levels of extroversion and they have trouble finding a balance between socializing and alone time. Individuals who score high in agreeableness are generally kind, cooperative, and quite empathetic, while those who score low may be more competitive and argumentative. And conflicts can arise when partners have different levels of agreeableness and have trouble finding a way to communicate and work through disagreements. Individuals who score high in neuroticism, they may be more anxious and they might be more sensitive to stress, while those who score low, they may be much more emotionally stable. And conflicts do arise when they have these different levels of neuroticism and they have a trouble understanding with each other's emotions and the reactions to stress. For me, the Big Five personality test is considered to be a very reliable and valid measure of personality traits, although of course it cannot fully capture the whole complexity of an individual's personality. While it should not be the sole source of information about personality, this test can actually provide you with a lot of valuable insights when you use it in conjunction with other assessment methods or even therapy. In relationships, by taking this test, it can be so beneficial for couples in order to better understand themselves and each other. And as I said before, it's going to help you identify areas whether you guys are compatible or whether you might experience potential conflicts in the future. There are a lot of websites, some are free, some are with a fee. I definitely recommend to you to do the test via Jordan Peterson's website, which is understandmyself.com. I did the test, and if you want to go see the results, go to my video named My Big Five Personality Trait Results. I also attached a PDF so you can see my results and the explanation that Dr. Peterson says in there. I also recommend you watch his episode 226, where he analyzes his personality with that of his wife Tammy, and you can learn so much from that. Let's go to healthy conflict resolution techniques, which involves constructive and respectful communication that helps partners to understand each other's perspectives and to come to a mutually satisfying resolution. Here are some effective techniques for you to resolve conflicts in relationships. First one is the active listening. You've got to listen actively and to always give your full attention to your partner. No judgments, no interrupting, and don't get defensive. You need to pay attention to their words, to their tone, to their body language in order for you to understand their perspective. And here are some examples of what it entails. Number one, paraphrasing. You always need to restate what your partner has said to you in your own words to make sure you understand their message correctly. For example, so what I'm hearing is that you feel frustrated when I don't help with the housework. 2, asking open-ended questions. And this type of question encourages your partner to share more information and helps to clarify any misunderstanding. For example, can you tell me more about how you feel when I do this and this and this and this? 3, reflecting feelings. You need to show that you understand and empathize with your partner's emotions. For example, it sounds like you're feeling really hurt by what I said. 4, summarizing. Sum up the main points of your partner's message to show that you are actively listening and trying to understand their perspective. For example, let me see if I got this right. You're upset because I didn't follow through on my promise to help with the children. I statements. Using the I statements, it's the most powerful communication technique, and that can help you to prevent misunderstandings and defensiveness in our conversations. And that involves expressing your thoughts and your feelings from your own perspective instead of you blaming or accusing your partner. When we use you statements, the other person may feel attacked or blamed, and that usually leads them to a defensiveness, and that can go to an argument. In contrast, when you use the I statement, you're expressing your own thoughts and feelings, which is less likely to trigger a defensive response. Furthermore, the I statement helps the other person understand how their behavior is affecting you, which it can encourage their empathy and their understanding. When you express your own feelings and needs, the other person may be more likely to consider your perspective. And this can also help to shift the conversation from fault finding to problem solving. And as you work together to find solutions that are going to meet both of your needs. Instead of saying you're always late and it's disrespectful, the partner could use an I statement and say, I feel frustrated and disrespected when you're consistently late for dinner. By using this I statement, you take ownership of your own feelings and reactions rather than blaming the other person for how you feel. And this can help the other person to see your perspective more clearly, and they can respond much more positively to that. And overall, using the I statement, it's such a simple but such an effective technique for improving communication and really helping with this conflicts in relationship. Acknowledge and validate your partner's feelings and always show empathy. And this really helps to de-escalate conflicts and create a sense of understanding. Validating your partner's feelings means that you're acknowledging and you're accepting their emotions, regardless of whether or not you agree with them. It's important because it helps to foster a sense of mutual understanding, and it provides respect, which is the foundation for effective communication and conflict resolution. One way to validate your partner's feeling is to actively listen to them without interrupting them or even judging them. And that means giving your full attention and trying to get into their shoes. So, for example, if your partner is upset about a disagreement that you had earlier, you might try saying something like, I hear you and I understand that you're feeling hurt and upset. Can you please tell me more why you feel that way? Can you see that? It's not an attack. Another way to validate your partner's feelings, as I said again, through the I statement, is always go through your own thoughts and your own feelings about a situation. Again, I'm repeating myself. Do not criticize and do not blame. Example, I can see why you would feel upset about that. And I want you to know that I didn't mean to hurt you. Do you see the difference? This is crucial. As I said before, be empathetic when you're validating your partner's feelings. And as I said, try to put yourself in their shoes and imagine how they might be feeling. For example, if your partner is stressed about a work deadline, you could say something like, I can imagine how overwhelmed you must be feeling right now. Is there anything I can do to help? Amazing, yeah? Something else. If you see that a conflict is becoming heated up or overwhelming, you need to take a break to cool off and gather your thoughts. I don't know whether you need to grab a pillow and bite onto the pillow, but take a bloody break. Find a time to come back to the conversation and continue with the discussion, never in heated moments. Next, look for the ways to compromise and find a mutual beneficial solution for the conflict. You need to be able to brainstorm together to come with alternative solutions. And for me, using humor to lighten the mood and to diffuse tension during a conflict is a must. But be careful not to use sarcasm or jokes, that can actually hurt your partner's feelings. And I want you to remember to always apologize for any hurtful actions or words and ask for forgiveness. And offer forgiveness to your partner when they apologize as well. And I might repeat myself, but I'm going to tell you now how to avoid escalation and to communicate effectively during a disagreement. And this repetition will help you get inside your brain faster, so that's why I do it. You need to recognize when a conversation is about to become escalated. Listen to the tone and volume of your voice and your partner. Watch for the physical signs of tension. They might be clenching their fists or their voices might be raised. If you notice some of these signs, take a break and come back to the discussion when both of you are in a calm state. And I'm going again into the I statements because that's the way that you're gonna bring about your thoughts and your feelings, and you're not gonna be blaming or attacking them. Again, I feel hurt when you do this instead of you always make me feel hurt. Again, we practice active listening. We listen to their perspective, we don't interrupt them, and we do not become defensive. You need to show that you understand their point of view, and you summarize what they've said, and you reflect it back to them. And remember, you need to take responsibility for your actions. If you contributed to the disagreement or you have hurt your partner, you have to take responsibility for all of the actions and you need to apologize. And remember, you always need to stay focused on the present issue. Avoid bringing up past issues or mistakes. Always be in the here and now and take an issue at a time. Find a solution to that. Don't go backwards. That's not the time. Look for ways that you can both solve the arguments. And I said before, and I'm repeating myself, brainstorm together to come with different solutions. And that humor that I said before, it helps diffuse the tension. But as I said, remember, do not give sarcasm or make jokes because that can really, really hurt your partner. I'm going to give you some conflict resolution exercises that can help you practice in identifying and resolving conflicts in a healthy way. You and your partner can practice having a mock disagreement and take turns playing the role of the one who is upset and the one who is trying to resolve the conflict. And through this exercise, you can develop skills that you can actively listen and to communicate respectfully and to be able to find a solution. If you're looking to practice active listening, sit down with your partner and take turns in sharing a personal story or a problem that you might be facing. The other person must listen actively and provide feedback on what they heard. And this exercise helps you practice listening to your partner and avoiding misunderstandings. Let's go to the I feel exercise. Sit with your partner and take turns finishing the sentence, I feel, and expressing your emotions in a non-accusatory way. Again, example, I feel hurt when you forget our plans. This exercise helps you both understand and communicate your emotions in the most healthy way. Another exercise is to problem solve in a collaborative way. Sit with your partner and choose a problem you both want to solve. Brainstorm together and come up with multiple solutions that satisfy both of you. Work together to evaluate the pros and the cons of each solution and choose the best one. Now let's go to the active anger management. When you feel angry, take a moment to breathe deeply and count to 10 before you respond. Or take a pillow and bite it. You need to avoid saying something that you regret, right? So you don't do it. You have to be in a place when you are calm. You need to remember, practicing conflict resolution, they can help you develop skills in order to communicate effectively and to be able to resolve conflicts in a healthy way. This way, you can strengthen your relationship and to build a stronger foundation in which you guys will trust and understand one another.